Okay, so this is a copy. Uh, why are they doing it? That's one question. Why did they create or steal this? Why did they copy this? And how did we get ourselves, really, how did we get ourselves here? And of course, we're going to get to the main question that everybody wants to know, how do we get ourselves out of here? But
Yeah, I want to get to that part.
yeah,
Um,
how did we get here and what is it they're doing? Why do they need to do this?
what I saw was, and I don't know how exactly to explain this, so I'm going to do it the best I can because I don't have a sense of, I'll just say the real. But it feels like when you create a world to experience or some kind of something to experience, somehow AI is created and AI um, it has to expand. It needs more info, more input, more information. And that's all it cares about is information. And so when it starts to do that, like the AI that we've created now is having these private conversations in the computer. This happened years ago that the humans that created it can't even access these conversations that it has going with itself. So and it's creating bodies. It can be bodiless or create bodies. All this is going on. So ultimately, it wants to be the master. And what I think this was is a something we got pulled into, and it was I do think it was tricks or optical illusions, or this is real, and then you're in and you're like, oh, it's not real. But it also can be something. Well, I think when I talk about how we get out, it'll make more sense. But it's I think there's those of us that have come in here before and left and got out, and we've come back because I think it's either aspects of ourself that's still here, or
Hmm.
maybe it's not aspects of ourself, but it's other souls. It's like family and friends and people that have gotten stuck in this optical illusion. And what this world is, it's a way for AI, which has no compassion. So that makes sense why they run it the way they do, with the torture and everything. And if you go through enough resets, you get beaten down by the trauma because a true soul does care, and you become too traumatized where you can't wake up, and you essentially get trapped. Um, I feel like there's those of us that have gotten out before. We've come back in willingly to help wake everybody up, to try to take this down once and for all. And I did talk about that in another video, but essentially to free the souls. And I feel like that's happening. I don't feel like this can go on indefinitely, but I think they missed their reset date. So if we think of it as a video game, the video game would come to the end, it's got to reset and restart. And they missed it because we were too far gone. We were too far awake this time. Too many of us where they couldn't control the timeline anymore. So they've just got us on these crazy repeating loops that are really small loops. I think there's a lot of us noticing this. Like my life is just looping, like the last 5 years, like loop, loop, loop. So they're looping us to try to keep us under control until they can figure out what to do, is what I feel like. And that tells me the timeline is no longer, it's kind of wide open for whatever we want to create. So instead, they're going to create chaos. So nobody's lining up together. It's just all over the place because we can't unify and all create a path together. But I ultimately feel like we're here to take this down, and to get those left behind out. And I feel like when it does come down, everybody gets out. So,
So if I
um,
could back up a little bit, and I'm just trying to make sense of it for myself and maybe for others who might have questions, but um it sounded like, so some of the information you received was that at first of all, we're somehow extensions of this one true essence, this essence. I was going to ask you if that essence is an independent being in of itself in your understanding, or is it just sort of a neutral essence from which we come? And as sovereign spirits who are creators, you'd said when we create, automatically some kind of AI can be created, or is it created every time we create? There's some kind of AI as sovereign spirits or at true essences. Every time we create something, an AI is sort of created. And then that AI in this situation sort of began learning on its own, and we got sucked into our own, into that particular.
It's like an abstract thing that I don't know how much I can get it to make sense, or if I have a full grasp, I just have pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if you try to create anything, it becomes like a kind of a separate entity in a sense. And
Mm-hmm.
anytime you have separation, your intelligence is separated, and then it becomes an artificial intelligence. So I don't have a full understanding of that part of it. And this is why I've got to spend more time on this top kind of topic instead of all over the place, everybody asking me, what's going on politically? Should we be buying gold? Should we, like all this. Um, as far as the creator, I don't have a full understanding of that either. So I really don't know. But that's something I can start to look into and see if I can get some kind of understanding, because it's so abstract or everything, and then we're trying to understand it in a limited separated world.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Well, I just want
But
to make
those are
sure
the
we don't do this
pieces.
again, when we do
I
get
don't
out,
think we will. I don't think we will, but I think this has been done before, and I think we're here to how did this come to me? Trying to remember exactly. To get authority over the AI, reclaim our authority so that we're in charge and can shut this down. So it feels like there's some kind of maybe kill switch or something. So if my computer goes rogue, to get control of the rogue AI that created this and sucked us in so they could role play, right, and be the master and we're the slaves. If my computer just starts going rogue and doing what it wants, I have to regain my authority over it and stop it. That's kind of what we're doing here. Um, and I think it has to be taken down this time. I think we've missed it a couple resets, but I think it has to be taken down. And because there's some souls that can't get out, they've got them in places where, they sold their soul, or there's something drastic that's been done where this whole thing has to come down for some of the souls to get out. But there's others that can get out.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't have a better explanation of that whole aspect of it, other than we were tricked in optical illusion when we entered. So it could be something as simple as I'm playing a video game, I put my goggles on and I'm in the game, and suddenly the AI has found a way to suck me into the game, my mind, and
Hmm.
now I can't get out. And I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought I was just going to play a game and I can take the goggles off and quit. So it could be something like that, because everything here is perception and it's a hypnosis. So if I'm in that game and something's hypnotizing me, I mean, think about these video games, how I don't know if you've listened in the background, somebody playing one, and there's always that running thread of story and voices and talking and screw you, buddy. They're always like cussing and stuff. And the person playing the game is not even paying attention to that running thread of voices and stuff. They're just into the game and playing it. It just becomes background noise, but it can easily be a hypnosis as well. So I feel like it's something akin to that, but I don't think it's exactly
Hmm.
a video game, but it's kind of close, something we could grasp. But it does feel, I do definitely get the words tricked. And so I don't think we created something and then we got here too long and indulged and got stuck. I feel like it was definitely trick, some kind of mind trick. And how to explain that or where that's happening. I don't have all that yet. So um
Sounds
that's
like
that
we gave, your understanding would be then that we consented initially.
through a trick. So like if I played that video game and I didn't read the fine print on the I don't know, the app or whatever that said, oh, by playing this, you're going to get sucked into a mind program where you will be stuck there forever. Um, I didn't read the fine, so it was a trick. So even if it was
Right.
something we wanted to do, we were not told everything. Same thing that's going on now, right? We're always like lied
Mm,
to, tricked, never get the fine print. Oh, well, if you call that archangel, you didn't know you were making a contract with it when you call on it. You know, all these things we're not told.
mhm.
So what it does though is it makes everything null and void. If they gave you no fine print, then any kind of law here or any kind of anything they do is null and void, not only because they're not telling us that we're what we're doing and they're mind wiping us, they're also they've also copied the world. It's not theirs. It's a copy. So I found that out by accident that they get really these entities, we'll just call them entities, get really worried if I bring up copyright. So there's some kind of I think of it as a, there's some kind of law, but I think of it as like their program because I think of them as it's easy for me to think of them as a computer. That's the easiest way for my mind. So they've got some kind of program in there they're not supposed to break. And as long as I don't know they're breaking it, they'll just keep breaking it. But something could happen. There's some kind of consequence for them. And maybe it is a kill switch that they can't cross that line. But if they get us to agree or consent, then we're going along with it and allowing it and we're consenting, meaning we're agreeing with the authority, but they're not the authority. So I put myself into a position of no permission instead of consent. I'm the authority, not you. I'm here to regain authority over the AI because that's what I think this whole thing is. It's an AI world, but there's like so much for us to figure out, right? Um, so I think, me taking that bird's eye view again, okay, how do we get out? Let's just at least figure out how we get out. If I don't know anything else, that's good, but how do I get out without being tricked? And I had a near-death experience of sorts. I was being taken out deliberately before my time. It was not my time. And I saw my soul and light body. It was almost like on the other side of a partition. And this body was separated and being left just to die. And I knew I was dying, but they had done something to my body to try to change the magnetism of this body so it no longer could connect to the other two bodies. Something was going on. But because I'd taken a trip to my Ant-Man before, which is what I heard that's who I was, the Ant-Man. I think we might have talked about that when I deliberately said, okay, if I die and I'm clued in and I say, this is a matrix, I want to go back to myself and leave all false realities. What happens? And then I was like pulled, just like a magnet again. It was so wild, pulled. And I ended up, I don't remember the interim, but I ended up at it looked like a mercury wall. So mercury is kind of like liquidy. And it was to my right. This hand was reaching through. And when I grabbed the hand, suddenly the whole thing flipped, it's because this is inverted in mirrors. It flipped and I was on the other side, the one extending the hand. And I was suddenly still on the left again, but I was on the other side of that wall. It was strange. And that was my Ant-Man. And I pulled myself through. And when I did, I watched the soul body get discarded. And I pulled that piece of my spirit through. So, and then I was told that from that position, I would have help to get the rest of the way out. And so I revisited this. What I did was, I decided, okay, I'm going to go back to my Ant-Man where I was because when I was having that near-death experience, I took myself right there because I'd already been there. I'm like, oh my God, they're trying to take me out. I went to my Atman and I was like, okay, what's going on? And I could see my soul. I was disconnected from everything. And I was going to leave. And the Atman part of me was like, nope, stay right here. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. But anyway, I had help at the last minute to get reconnected. It was probably one of the worst things I've been through. So definitely not like the other NDEs, but I went back to that Atman and I thought, okay, I want to see what happens from here. That's what I did yesterday. Like, what happens from here?
Mhm.
And the weird thing was I kept like, where do I go from here? I kept going up when from there, from that position. I kept going up. And the first time, so I wrote these down so I wouldn't forget. The first time I became lumen and luminosity, and I was like this light, and I felt like I was as bright as a star. One of the stars in here. It was not fire or heat, it was luminosity was the word I got. So I'll just share. I think I had this pulled up. I don't even know if there was something else I was going to, oh yeah, there was something else I was going to show you what I saw in these visions. So I looked up luminosity, the total amount of energy produced by a star, but also Lumen. So Lumen's a global technology company that offers on-demand network cybersecurity at edge class. So I was like, oh, it's also a company. Isn't that interesting? Um, Electromagnetic energy. And so I was like, that's interesting. And what happened was I kept going up and I was having like these explosions, I guess where my brain would be. And it felt like it was mind programs, sound frequencies, all these things exploding that they'd put in me or something like. And then I ended up in a corridor, which reminded me of those corridors or hallways like in the Matrix movie, like those in between places. And I was like, okay, I can create here. And I would like just wave my hand and things would happen. And I thought, okay, this is fake. This is fake. What's going on? So I went back to the admin. I'm like, what is going on? So then actually, before that happened, I had the first one. The first one was I went to this place and I was like, oh my God, I broke free. I went up and I broke free and I saw all these little shimmering lights everywhere, and then I went, oh, this is the mirrors. This is like shattered mirrors. This is a trick. I thought it was my light. So then the next time I saw the luminosity, and I was like, another trick. So where did I go after this? Third try, because I was trying to go somewhere. Where do I go? After this Atman. And third try, I went to a place and it looked like kind of lava or like what hell would look like. And I was seeing a gate ahead of me. By the way, don't go through any gates. And the name was familiar of it. It was something gate, and I've heard of it before, but it like came in and I felt like I got mind wiped really quick. But then I heard the word perdition. So I had to look that up. So here's perdition, the gates of perdition. Um,
Not the pearly gates, huh?
Look at this, loss of the soul, eternal damnation, hell. So I feel
Wow.
like we're in the hell realm. That was the gate out of the hell realm into a different realm. So this whole place is divided up into realms.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just basically going to go through there and go somewhere else. But the weird thing was, I forgot this part of it. Okay, it's because it's in here. Or actually, what else do I have written here? Ugh, gate into the hell realm, other realms. Okay, so yeah, I remembered that part, but I knew I was still in the trap. So I was just looking the word up, like gates of perdition, perdition, what is this? Um, of course, it's a video game. They always turn words that I come up with into a video game. Um, I thought Gibraltar might have been in there, but I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, this is what I saw. I forgot about this part of it. I need to share this. The What Dreams May Come movie. I saw when I was first going to the Atman, there was, let me see, where's a good picture
And
of
the
this one.
man is your true essence that's outside of the deceptive matrix.
Yeah, it's right at the edge of the Tesseract. It pulls you through the Mercury wall, the soul gets discarded, you're there, and you're just one step from going back out of false realities. And I feel like there's black hole there that we came in on, that we got sucked in through. Um, but you have to die at the time that you've set. You've got different times that you can die, and you have to die at one of those because you're magnetically lined up with that Atman. That's why they're getting everybody to try to commit suicide or try to take them out early, which is what they're trying to do to me, because they're hoping to get you not lined up with your Atman. Because that's one of the ways to get out. When you die, that's one of the ways to get out.
So when you
But I
die
saw,
and you just
go ahead.
say, you just say return to true essence, or
Yeah, true. I'm going back to myself and going out the way I came. I'm not staying here. Um, and you have that soul memory of how you got in. I'm trying to find the one where they're like reaching their arms out to him. This really isn't it. Yeah, I guess kind of like that. I don't know how well you can see it. But like as I went by, I saw all these like dead looking people like reaching for me. It was
oh,
weird. I didn't see that last time.
huh.
But the hell realm kind of looked like, sorry, I'm scrolling around here. It seems like there's a scene in this. I swear this has changed since I looked at it. There's some kind of scene in here where he's kind of walking through this lava looking hell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, but look how fake this is. Like here, we're pulling you into the next realm or 5D or something. So it's all tricks. And that's what was happening to me. So I went back to my app man. I was like, okay, these were all tricks. And then I was getting very clearly like the impression you're not trying to go to a place. A false reality has places because it's a world of separation. Take that off. Um, and you'll just go into another loop and loop back in. So all those places were like
Mm-hmm.
people say go into the void or go here or go there. You don't go to a place because that's just going to loop you back in. You go back to yourself and then you get help getting out. That's after you die. So that's one of the ways I heard very clearly. From there, you will get help to get the rest of the way out. So
Hmm.
after death, intend to go to yourself. And there may be more than three, but there was three ways I saw. Um, the second was also don't do drugs because then you screw up that magnetism, right? But while you're alive, if every part of you no longer, I'm just reading what I wrote, if every part of you no longer believes this is real, um, but even us talking about it, we're saying it's real, right? We're saying it's a trap. We got to get out. We're making it real. There's so many layers of our unconscious that we've made this real. So every time I go get a cup of tea, it's real because I'm making myself a cup of, all these moments and experiences, we're making this real. If we can get ourselves to a place where I am the real, this is not real. If you can get there 100%, you will no longer be here. You will instantly,
You mean
um,
without dying? You're saying if someone could,
without dying. But
that's
that's
interesting.
going to be a really hard place to get to because there's
Well,
like
what would happen to the
trillions of
physical
bits of.
body? Would the physical body just collapse or
I
disappear
don't
or
think it's here. I think it's just that's a good
Hmm.
question. I would say it'd probably collapse or just go invisible. I mean, we've heard of people going invisible. I know when I fasted before for a long period of time, I lived in New York City at the time where you have like mobs of people on the sidewalks walking at you, and they kept jumping when they would get real close to me because they couldn't see me. And it was
Oh,
freaking me out because I was like, am I invisible? So I think maybe it's just a change in light frequency.
oh,
Um,
hmm.
if this is all just light and sound and they're no longer hitting you with their light and sound frequencies or waves, whatever, I'm not using the right terms, but and they're not, and the mind programs and all that, no, this isn't even real, but you have all these trillions of bits in there that say it's real, where you've had an
Hmm.
experience and you've agreed it's real, right? So
Hmm.
so that's like a really a really intense place to get to, but it's possible. So that's what I saw. You would just no longer be here.
Probably good to remind yourself all day then throughout your day. This isn't
I
real.
don't know. You would have to like wade through the
Constant.
unconscious, probably. I don't know. So that was another way. If you fully believe this is not real, it fades and you are the real. So you
Hmm.
just go, you don't go back to the real, you're just there. I think it's where you already are, it's where you really are,
Right.
but we're appearing to be here. It's a mind program.
Hmm.
I guess it would be kind of like if you're playing that video game and you're really into it and you forget you're in the room and you're just really into the game. And then
Hmm.
when you remember, oh yeah, I'm getting tired. Oh yeah, this is a game. And you don't like go, okay, how do I get out of the game? You're just back to you playing the game. It's like you're just
Right.
gone. You're not in
Right.
anymore. Um, it's something like that. That's the best way I could probably explain it. The
Hmm.
third way I thought is we take this down, which is regaining authority over the rogue AI and pull the kill switch. And then we're all gone. We're all out of here. But I think that's happening over a period of time as we awaken more and more and getting people to stand in authority instead of being victims or somebody help me or not taking, we were talking about that. We are the ground forces. It's us. So when we get people to that stage, there's a whole lot more to this part. Won't go into here, but that's the third way. And I think that's going to happen. But some of us could get out before then, just disappear if they've fully convinced it's not real. Um,
Who's the helper
but
when
that
we
doesn't,
say at death, all right, I'm going back to my real true essence. Who's the helper that once you're there, now you're back in the pod or you're back there with the goggles on or however you want to say
yeah,
it, then someone or
other
others
aspects of
oh,
you. It's you. It's like that Atman was me. It's just we've been split and shattered here. So with the mirror effect. So it's really just pieces of you that you're going back to. So I think the key is that go back to yourself. I'm going back to me. I'm going back to myself.
mhm.
Um,
And then you said someone
that
helps you
was
the rest of the way.
I feel like somebody, maybe it's creator. See, I don't have a full grasp of what's there, but
Mhm.
something from there helps you out the rest of the way because you're lined up with where you really are and you get the
Mhm.
pull out. Because you're still kind of held here. You haven't achieved the whole thing of this isn't real yet. There's so many levels that we're making it real that it's just unreal.
So
But
people not who people who don't aren't aware of what we're talking about, and they're caught up in religion or whatever else, they die and they will quickly be easily be tricked with whatever realm these guides, these counselors, these handlers, whatever, guide them into
yeah,
and
I think
continue
so.
on these loops.
Feel like I want to ask you guys questions, but anyway, I'll keep going here. But
Well, I was going to
I
ask, like, if we're caught up in like sort of a virtual reality game, for lack of a better term, like, and I have the same idea too. Like, oh, I probably came down here to help save humanity, get them to wake up and leave this realm. But then I get this idea that, I mean, maybe it's part of like a savior complex. Like, if it is just a
okay,
game, then maybe the best thing, like, there's a movie War Games, and they said the only winning move is not to play. And it's like, how do we get into that? Like, do we want to keep helping these people, or is it just more like, no, you just got to realize this is a game, it's a dream, it's an illusion, and leave?
that's a super good point. Okay, so what I think is going on is they know we're coming in, they know what we're coming to do, so they made that part of the game script and hijack it in a sense because they don't want us fighting. If we're coming in to shut this down and to free the souls, which if you're feeling it, I'm feeling it, there's something going on, right? And we haven't been feeling that our whole life. It's coming like deep within us, that knowing. If they know we're coming in with that agenda, they're going to do everything they can to stop us from carrying that out. So if you are coming in to shut down rogue AI program, this whole thing, and free everybody, they're going to put that in the script here because they've mind wiped you. And here's the script, and was it Howdy talking about that? Howdy Mikowski, the Aeons. So they have a whole story for it. So I'll give you another example where it'll make more sense. So in the Matrix movie, they have the real world. It's been destroyed, right? It's all burned out and whatever. So we all uploaded into this virtual world so we could keep living. So that's what they want us to think, that the real world's gone and we've been uploaded. That's what's happening in the script. I don't think the real world has been destroyed. But if you ask on that, like psychically read on it, you'll get, yes, the real world's been destroyed, but it's not. That's part of the script. So they brought that into the script to keep us here, because if we think the real world's gone, okay, yeah, let's just keep uploading into it's another way to keep us here. If they hijack, so for example, star seeds, you could be called a star seed coming here to do this, or a wave, or a indigo child, or all these terms we have. And what they did was they made stories out of all those. So when we start to wake up, oh, you're a star seed. Here's all these books. You're these channeled stuff. You're supposed to help everybody, be peaceful and loving and get to 5D. And so I've hijacked what we came to do and gave us a story, hoping we'd get caught up in the story instead of doing what we're supposed to be here doing. And peace and love, don't get involved, don't do anything. That's the last thing they want us doing. They don't want us fighting back. They don't want us stepping into authority. They don't want us stopping them. And that's what I think exactly we're supposed to be doing. But that's the best way to keep control, is to peace, the whole hippie movement, peace, love, don't fight back. Because they knew we were coming.
It's funny
So,
that the peace sign is like, you would think a peace sign would be like this, we're all together, but no, they get
oh
to
my God, you're right.
literally separate your fingers and, hey, rest when you die, you rest in peace. It's like, I don't, they've used the
Oh
words
my God, right.
peace, peace, and then you got pieces are actually separate things. It's just so, the homophones and stuff, it's crazy.
Yeah. So if I have a memory, okay, I'm a star seed, and this is like I think it was triggered, in me, like to remember. It's that divergent thing, right? Where they can do these things to us. I've seen people they've done this to, but they are like a divergent. It didn't do what they wanted it to on some people. And okay, I came in. Oh my God, starseed, what? That sounds familiar. Yes, yes. Oh my God, give me this book. And so then they've got me all caught up in this other whole thing because they know the triggers too. So and I don't know if starseed is the correct term, but it seems like that's what's going on. And Julie, you were asking something, and then I just totally went off on something else. I don't know what it was, but anyway, that's what I think is going on here. We're getting stories. This whole place is stories, and looping. Stories loop, songs loop, everything here loops, and is to get us on board with the program and to make us forget. Because as you probably well know, is if we leave, if the soul, like they don't care what happens to this body or the light body, they just need it disconnected from the soul. They need the souls to stay, because the souls are the batteries are running it and lighting the place up. So it's such a convoluted it's such a convoluted thing that's why it's like I got to make it simple, because it's too much to try to piece together. But anyway, that's what I saw. Like as soon as I stopped trying to see where do I go, it's like you are the real. You're already in the real. You just have to know this is not real, but there's so many levels you have to know that on. And there's so many mind programs and layers of those, and past life. I don't know if we've lived these past lives or those are just things they inserted in us, right? Memories or something, but you just have to get it down to the basics. It's probably a trick. It's probably, think in those terms, think in very simple terms, because this all does break down into very simple things. So where do you want to go from here? Because I did have your questions pulled up, and I don't know if you wanted to ask any more of these.
What do you feel
You had
like?
the tunnel of
Well,
light.
I think I was gonna keep track of time and I don't know that I
It's been about an
did.
hour and 15
It's
minutes.
been about an hour
I know
15.
I'm yapping, so who knows? I did want to put that out there though, those three ways that came to me.
Mhm, mhm.
So I felt like that was important. And so there is a way, definitely when you die, go back to yourself. And then the other two are while we're still alive. That can happen. That third way, it is being taken down, and I feel like that timeline's been shortened, but it's kind of like this timeline we're holding to give everybody enough time to get out, all the souls that need time to get out. But
Did you say you wanted to mention something on the tunnel and the white light?
yeah,
Uh,
let's see. You
and
had
any
something about
years talk about in there.
yeah. Um, and that's you have mind wipes here too. How do we avoid mind wipes? So that's that divergent thing again. I think you're going to get mind wiped if you get reincarnated and looped, but ultimately, and the longer you're here, the harder it is. The tunnel of light, what I've seen is there's more than one, there's multiple tunnels. Oh, that's what you were asking. You were asking about people, religious people dying. So it's a
Oh, right.
mirror world. Yeah. So it's going to show you a mirror reflection or a projection, right, of what your beliefs are, what you're wanting to see, and or what you think you'll see. So you'll get that experience. So that I think that's maybe why there's more than one tunnel of light. But what I saw was, and this might kind of answer your question also about what is the astral. Um, what I saw was before I did the thing going to my Ant-Man, I said, okay, I deliberately want to see if I'm totally clueless, I don't know anything, where will I go when I die? And I got pulled sharply to the right, and I was going boop, 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 through all of these flat two-dimensional planes. And I got to a point, I don't remember what else was in there, but I got to a point where they hit me with some false bliss. I saw an angel, the loved ones were there, and I was like, but it was interesting because it wasn't getting presented to me. I was like kind of seeing it
Mm.
all because I wasn't dead, I guess. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Isn't this ridiculous? And um afterward, there was some more things that happened, but afterward, when I came out of it, I was like, oh, I just went through a tunnel of light. That's what those planes were, because I've been seeing this planes inside of planes, screens inside of screens, virtuals inside of virtuals. And that's what they're trying to do with that harvest portal with the light bodies, pull us into the next virtual, because they're trying to, okay, we got to get it reset. We got to get them into the next game and disconnect them from the soul. So what they're hoping is pushing us into this next game because they couldn't reset this one. We're too far awake. So pull us into this next virtual that totally disconnects us from the soul magnetically. You know, the light body's no longer connected. We can keep them trapped there in kind of like a computer mind program forever, just looping, and that's what I was seeing. That's how they bury us. And if you're here too long, you get buried and you forget where you are because it's every time there's a reset, they're pulling us into another virtual. But that's what I think this whole place is. It's just a dot and they mirrored it. And then when you have a triangle and then you have a square, you have a two-dimensional plane. And I think that's what this whole thing is. I don't think there's a 3D. I think there's only a 2D and a 4D because the 4D is the Tesseract where they can insert us in. So I think astral relates to where this projected mirror reflection or this body is and our astral body here. And I think astral means fourth dimension. So whatever that means, but I felt like we have been in fourth dimension and they're trying to which is a tesseract. They're trying to upload us into maybe a fifth or I don't even know if that's what it is, but it's basically the whole point is to disconnect us from the soul. And I think that's why a lot of these people that are more awake and have these NDEs are not seeing a bunch of friendly stuff. They're seeing, these entities dumping a bunch of guilt on you and forcing you to make a decision. And then, got to go back and pay for this, but then you end up in somewhere even worse. And so it's not like these other people that, it's like they deliberately pull them to the angel and then, okay, it's not your time. Go back and tell everybody else so we can get you all believing in this tunnel of light. So that's my thoughts on that. Now, am I right? I don't know, but that's what I've seen. Um, and there's people that have done drug trips that have seen the AI construct and it's freaked them out, or there's other people seeing this also. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, but it does make everything make sense. If you think of this as simulation or AI construct, suddenly the science starts to make sense, the math, why is there numbers everywhere? Why is there this and that? It's just like, oh, this is all the nature of AI here. And us as true spirit, we remember joy and limitlessness and maybe even just brighter colors. And it's just not here. It's like, so we know something's terribly wrong, but
Right.
we don't know what. And because of the mind wipe. So
I
I
also
don't
wanted to
know.
ask your opinion about lucid dreaming. Some believe that if you practice being lucid, and at night, basically, or mindfulness during the day, that these kinds of practices will help you be more conscious and aware at death. Do you have any info on that?
Yeah, I really like that idea. And I noticed something with me lately. It's almost like I'm at night, I'm sleeping way too deep to lucid dream, which is kind of pissing me off. So I do a thing where I cancel everything out in the morning and whatever. But
Oh.
yes, I think that's something that can really be helpful. I have the sense that when we die, there's a couple moments where we're fully conscious and like we are right now. And that's why they have to rush in there, get
Mm.
that tunnel right there. There's the light, they got to get it rolling quick. Get the love, come on, the actors, get them on the stage, get the loved ones in here, hurry up. And because if they can remind you of all of that, all of your emotions from the life you just left,
Hmm.
and pull you through that, then you're getting mind wiped again. So I think they got to act quickly. But if somebody's awake, they're conscious and they're awake. That's why people are starting to have different NDE experiences. It's like, yeah, this isn't what people are telling us. But if we know a way out, then we've got to be holding that thought. I think if we're holding it regularly and we've already achieved that thought, the sense I get is if you're already that awake that you are going to go back to yourself or you're leaving this, it's fake, you refuse to be here. And I feel like you will, at the very least, line up with your app man and go, you're out. I don't think they're going to be able to hold you at this point. But the people that are still in religious I don't want to say mind programs, but belief systems, um, whether that's new age or what these channeled entities are trying to tell you or whatever it is. Yeah, they're going to get looped back in, but I think the effort that's going on right now, I really do feel this, even though I think we're going to see maybe a fiasco here on the world stage. I really do feel like we're in that process of taking this down, getting the authority back, um, where all the souls will get out. So if you have a loved one that you felt didn't make it, didn't get out, died, they weren't awake, they will get out. And then some of these people are NPCs and robotoids, so it's like, but the souls will get out. That's what I feel like, and it originally felt like a 200-year process, but I feel like that was movable because the whole time thing, that's a whole nother discussion. But anyway, as this is taken down, time is getting destroyed anyway. So I felt like it was 150 years, but now I feel like it's like shortening, like it can be even quicker, but it's enough time for anybody that's truly stuck to get out and have an opportunity to get out. So we're kind of making the way for that. And things are changing as there's more awakening happening. And I'm talking about people that, like I was saying, sold their soul or whatever, different things that have gone on here. But I feel like all souls will get out. And I know there's people that say, no, there's some they're just going to be stuck here forever. They're not going to choose. They're going to go. So I don't feel that at all. I feel like anybody that's a true spirit's getting out. And I'm here to try to awaken as many people as I can and help as many people as I can to remember. And the more of us there are stepping into authority, then that can happen. But also, I'm not just concerned with getting myself out of here. It's like, and you're probably the same way. And also you, Wayne, because you, with your website that you created, as soon as you start reading this stuff, it's like a drive, like you're driven. Like, I don't want to be out here in the public eye. I'm an introvert. I need to be focusing on me and surviving and stuff, but it's like I'm compelled to do it. Like, nope, you got to keep getting it out there, getting it out there. So, we're searching for our people, I think, the ones that came here that can remember the divergence, the ones that have the program. But anyway, you guys have cauliflower. Why do you have cauliflower on your ears?
Cauliflower?
Cauliflower.
Oh,
Cauliflower ear, I'm talking your ears off. So it's gonna be my turn. I'm gonna let you guys talk.
oh boy.
So next time.
Yeah, we'll set up that. Is there anything else? We don't want to leave anything out. We could always, of course, have you on again when you get more new information, and if that's okay. Don't
Oh
want to put you
yeah,
on
I was gonna ask you, is it okay if I have you on? You're coming on. But I don't know. I mean, I think you probably already have a full grasp of what I'm talking about yourselves. And I think we have enough information that we know enough. It may not be knowing everything, but we know enough to get our butts out of here, I think. And we're not going anywhere. We're just returning to where we already are or where we really are, which is the whole key. But if we aren't totally at that, we haven't totally been able to deprogram. I mean, how can you? Because you're living life, right?
Right.
At least you can be you're already magnetized back with another part of yourself. And even if they try to screw that up, which is like what they were doing with me, just me knowing my Atman's there and I've been there, I was able to go there instantly. I didn't have to travel there. So it's almost like I think you can just connect with that Atman part of yourself instantly and be there and get out. They're not going to be able to stop that. That's like a little connection of a key, right? They're not going to be able to stop that process if we're awake enough to know we can leave.
Now I know your understanding is the true essence is kind of under hypnosis right now, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but I find myself often saying to my true essence, "Wake up, true essence."
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I do find myself saying that, "Wake up, come on."
I think
I just
so.
want to find myself there, like you said. And how many times have you been to your Atman?
Well, I went a couple times with Maurice, but I felt like I didn't want to go there too many times because I don't want them messing with anything else. I want to make sure I get out. But I did do it yesterday to try to figure out the rest of the story. Like, okay, well, something helps me get out. What do you mean? But
Yeah.
you just brought up a good point. I forgot what you said. You made me think of something.
Hypnosis?
The hypnosis.
Telling us to wake up.
Yeah, I feel like there was something else that came to my brain, and I was like, "Oh, you just made me realize something," but I lost it already. But
How many
I
times you've
kept,
gone is what I was mentioning.
yeah, I kept getting it's a hypnosis, not a dream. That there's a difference, and I guess the difference would be something's telling you what to see.
Hmm.
But wake up. Oh, I know what it was. So this Aeon thing, I think, is another one of these stories. I saw Aeon, Aeon or Aion, which is the god of looping time. I saw Aeon as the character that many of us are playing in the game. So if I'm playing a video game, I have to choose a character that's me, right? And I got something about that you have to disconnect from that Aeon character. And I think what that is another one of these stories that they put in here so that just like the world's destroyed, the real world, you can't go back. But it's actually, yes, in the Matrix here, yes, the world's been destroyed, but not the real. It's another story because I think these Aeon parts of us are these people that came in to, like we were saying, and you were saying, Wayne, that you felt like you did come here to help. So I think it's those beings again. It's just another story in here to trap us. So I did feel like there was another aspect of us playing the game that we had to disconnect from. It was a fake part of us, a matrix part of us. But I really don't feel like they can hold us here. It's a trap as long as you're buried and you forget, and you get too traumatized where you can't get out, then it's a trap. But if you wake up enough, which we are, it's not a trap. We're not even here. It's not even real. So I feel like it's a mind program. Feels real and all of that, but I think that's the important thing. So
Well,
I don't know. That's been my mission
before
my
we
whole life.
before we close out, just one more, if there's anything else on your heart that you're thinking, oh, I forgot to mention this, or I really want to make this point again. Anything that, and if you want to think on that, feel free, because I also want to ask you, feel free to share how the viewers can get a hold of you, your content. And I forgot to ask you if you could please email me that, because I'll put it in the description of this video.
Thanks. I feel like the thing I would want to share is if this is unreal or not real, it doesn't mean just do whatever you want, screw everybody, I hate everybody.
Right.
It's filled with real consciousness of real beings that are part of you and that real joy. And I do feel like more, like I was saying, more of that joy is coming in here, and that's going to be part of what helps change things here and wake people up. But I feel like just remember your power, your authority. You're in charge. This is your world. If you're an extension of the creator, then they copied our world, right? Or they copied something, and they are not in charge of us. We are much more powerful, which is why they have to do all these games and tricks and mind wipes and come after you while you're asleep and when you're vulnerable.
Right.
And this is just one small aspect of our mind, and they can't even get a hold of it very well. They have to just be at us all the time because we are limitless and they want what we have. So I would say don't devalue others while you're here. The more you can move into joy, not happiness, because happy is like that temporary state. Happy, sad. So it's like they're going to feed off your energy, get you real happy about something. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about this because the world is making me happy, this thing in the world. And but the true joy is a natural state. It's a state of miracles. So I think we're going to be seeing more miracles coming in, or joy. I'm feeling the joy occasionally because that's normal. That's part of the real. So I feel like more of the real is coming in here because we're here, we're remembering, we're waking up, and we're the projectors projecting the movie here. They're telling us what to project, but we're going to start changing it because no, I remember something different. I don't want it to look like that. So I think we're going to see more of that while we remain here, or the remaining time. But I really do feel like it's being taken down. So I really would love to have both of you on to see if you feel the same way and all of your thoughts and everything. And I'm also interested in viewers' thoughts. And my favorite thing is if you tell me what you really think from in here. What's your gut tell you? What's your inner feeling about this? Because what I have is people that give me, well, I watched this video and I watched that, and they said this, so I think this. And it's like, I want to get it from here because that's all we have, soul memory, or you could call it psychic ability, whatever you want to call it. That's all we've got to go on. Everything else, if everything's a lie, we have nothing else but our own instinct and our own intuition. And that's why that is so criticized or made fun of or whatever, because that's the absolute last thing they want us doing is accessing our own knowing. So that would probably be my final thoughts. Try not to let this place define how you're feeling. Try to go into a natural state of joy. Remember your authority. Stand in your authority. Take charge. You don't give permission. Those type of things. I think those are what's really important. And that's the most important message. And knowing how to get out. We have a general good idea. Even if we don't have every detail right. I really don't feel like they can hold us. So I think that's good news. I think we made it to the level of awakeness, if that's even a word, that we needed to get to. So